everyone, and as always, I have here with me our consultants to comment on the latest proposals, developments for PHP 7.2 or maybe PHP 8. Hello, Arthurs. How are you doing?
Not always. I think last time I skipped, but mostly, yeah, I'm here.
Yes, you had to give some space to the winner of PHP Innovation Award at 2016, Christian V, that made some time in his busy schedule in the intervals while he's not updating his PDF class. Every day he places submits an update with some improved fixes.
Nice.
It seems that it is a class with a great demand, but it's not
Does
all.
he do it through GitHub or manually?
Both. I mean, he updates in GitHub, and then automatically it gets imported.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Anyway, we are here to talk about PHP, the latest topics. We are going to start precisely making a brief overview of the topics. If I can share the screen here. Can you see now?
Not yet. Loading. Yep, I see it now.
Oh, okay. So first, we are going to cover just briefly what have been the latest releases of PHP 7 and PHP 7.1. It seems last month there was no update for PHP 5.6, that is in security maintenance mode.
That means no security issues. Nice.
Or maybe not exactly during that interval, but I think there are always security concerns. Anyway, then we move on to a topic regarding deprecating and removing bare words. Bare words are sometimes accidents when you forget to maybe put a $sign before the name of a variable. And the current behavior of PHP is to quote it and treat it like a string. That can lead to some inconveniences. So the proposal is to somehow change the behavior and remove it in future PHP versions.
I had no idea this is really happening.
Yeah, because I don't program PHP much these days. Anyway, the next proposal is about I think it is an extension called FFI, Foreign Functions Interface.
Yep.
Basically, it allows you to call some DLL or a shared object library. And the proposal, it's not very well formatted here, but here you can read it better. It is about to tell what are the types that are expected for functions of those shared libraries. So if there is a type mismatch at runtime, it could trap it and maybe throw an exception, I think. Well, anyway, this is a proposal. It is not yet RFC as far as I could understand. But it is something that is for an extension that is available on Peckel that would allow to call those shared libraries called FFI. The next topic is about the so-called arrow functions. Basically, you could call some code. It's sort of like macros that you just define some function with some parameter and it will call some short code. It would be equivalent to returning some expression. So the idea is to simplify the way you call your code. The next topic is about HKDF. This is, I confess, something that is not easy to understand because it is related with cryptography and hashing. And the idea seems to be to define a way to define these hash-based functions that often no. I mean, they usually use HMAC scheme. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. It is about using namespaces in core. This is for now a proposal. It is a bit confusing, at least for me. Maybe Arthur's got it much clearer, but it seems to define which namespace would be associated to core functions, core library, core extensions. So you could have alternative implementations that would not collide with core implementations, but the functions would have the same name. And finally, there is a topic related with extended string types for PDO. Basically, this is something that I do not recall I have ever used, but it is to support national character types when passing parameters of string type to PDO. So, well, let's start from the beginning and review what are these topics. As for the PHP 7, we had the regular updates on versions, and I see a lot of bug fixes as always, because PHP 7.0 is being actively developed. And I do not see anything specific. Arthur, did you notice any important fix that may have?
There are some interesting, like MySQL EI has a leak in its fetch object function. So I think many could be actually experiencing this bug, or
right.
Probably based on what are you seeing. But yeah, as we said, that there were no security updates, so these are core really bugs that were really fixed. So most probably some users need really to have updated and get those fixes.
There are some I think at least one segfault fix, which means that once you use the fixed code, hopefully it will not crash, and you do not know why it didn't crash. There was one for debug print back trace, and there was another for MySQL when you would free a result. There's another for LDAP. I don't use LDAP, but maybe somebody else uses it. So it is interesting. As for PHP 7.1, those are basically the same.
It should include the same bug fixes plus probably additionally to this version specific.
Yeah, there is also something that we were mentioning. I have not yet understood exactly what it is. It's they added the hkdf function.
So that's the same that we will be talking about too.
Yeah, we'll be talking. Not that we understand much about it. We are not experts in security. Maybe it deserves some more time to discuss this. Okay, so now starting to talk about the topics of proposals, RFCs, discussions. We start with the deprecation and removing of bare words. I have not heard of this expression, but after I read this RFC, I understood what it is. Basically, it is related with something that happens a lot, at least to me, by accident. Just like I forgot to put a dollar sign in a variable. And if you have a symbol like this, maybe here, and you forgot to put the dollar sign, it will treat it like a constant string. And this is not very good because your code will malfunction, because it will assign a value to an expression that uses that constant that probably was not a constant. And the idea here is to change the behavior so PHP can catch better these problems. I don't know about you, but I think this is probably very useful to detect the usual bugs. I usually do not ship code to production with these kind of bugs, but while we are testing things, well, at least it's like throws a notice, and I am often looking at my PHP error log. Since many years ago, I do not debug throwing messages to the page output because it can make things confusing. I use the error log to throw debug messages, and since I'm looking at the error log, I would notice these things. But I don't know if everybody does that, and sometimes you could go and notice these bugs, especially when you are testing some code that you did not run the exact part that you had this bug. So you would not notice until later when you actually run it. Anyway,
but I really can't understand why would anyone really thought that it would be a good idea to fall back such like constants, I don't know, to string. Like,
yeah,
it leads to much more problems than it could solve. I think potentially not I don't know, not quoting a value that would make it easier to write or something. I don't know what was the idea really.
I think it is to just implement some default behavior in the sense that at least the script will not crash.
Oh, okay.
It will not. If it was Java, it will crash with a blank page, and my script is not running. At least the person will see the script continue to run, but even if it was not working well at all, it would not stop. Then you would not panic, because put yourself in the shoes of the beginners that are trying PHP, and everything they try produces a blank screen, and they say, this PHP thing is difficult. I'm going back to Java. Java is much more, it's easier. Not. And I think this is to be friendly with users, but well, anyway, the idea is to throw an exception. So now the proposal is to make it more like Java. I think that's what it seems. Okay, moving on to the next topic. It is about the FFI, foreign functions interface. Basically, there is an extension in PHP called precisely that. That extension is usually in PECL, but it hasn't been developed for many years, meaning that probably there are not many people using it, or not. I don't know. I think this is probably to call DLLs in Windows. I don't use Windows.
Shared objects, or so for shared object SO for Linux, or dlibs for macOS, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they expose some functionality, and the idea is to call it from PHP. So I don't know if there is an example here. Well, with FFI, you would call a function, it will return an object. In that object, it could call these functions. So that was in the PHP 5 days. Now in PHP 7, we have more strict types, and people want to do as much type checking at runtime if possible.
Yeah, basically they want to do type checking not on C side, which would crash the whole app, but rather on PHP side.
Yeah, I just don't know why we could crash in C. Don't
C
C
strict.
code always assuming that the code values are being passed in the right format. I don't know how this discussion works, because at a certain point PHP has to convert the PHP values that are passed to the function to native ones.
Yes, and upon that conversion, there will be a problem. I don't know how FFI actually works underneath. It's direct binding or something. I don't know.
Yes, because I suppose that in C there are functions that have specific number and type of parameters.
Yes.
And when they are called, they expect the types to be right. But to convert it from PHP, some function parameters list has to be built at runtime to call these functions. So I don't know how this works internally, but at a certain point, there must be some kind of conversion. I guess PHP itself just passes the values, and I don't know how it would work, because in C, for instance, integers, you can have different types of integers. PHP, assuming that you have an integer of a specific type of a function, I don't know how it would work. Anyway, the idea is to have some kind of configuration that tells that certain functions will take parameters of certain types. Probably this is not the syntax that is being proposed, because
No, it says something like.
yes,
It's not said specifically.
yes. So what I think is that, let me put this screen on front. Probably it will be something like this, but not this, because this doesn't make sense. This just is. This looks more like a declaration of a function than the function call parameters. Probably instead of int a, it would just say hint in probably as a string, because hint is not a value, it's a type. Well, anyway, this is just to describe a bit the proposal. I never use these things. I don't know if they are used much in practice. Maybe it is the specific need of the original poster.
Well, in PHP, probably no.
Yeah.
There was, I remember there was some idea when I needed something like that, and the difference was either using FFI or using or make an extension, compile an extension to PHP, which is much harder to do and add, especially if you're on shared hosting. So FFI in this case would work better. So like you need some C-based algorithm. Like I think it was for year for me, but which was not available in PHP. But yeah, sometimes you need something like this.
Yes. Okay. Well, this is a proposal, not necessarily something that many people will like. Anyway, moving on to the next topic, it is about arrow functions. What are arrow functions? It's better that I share the screen.
Yep. Any JavaScript developer will know what's arrow function.
Really? So does that mean that I'm not a JavaScript developer?
I don't know. It's quite popular. I see them everywhere in examples and stuff like that in JavaScript now. In Node.js specifically, of course, not the browser side.
But not with this syntax. I mean, this syntax. This is the syntax.
Well, I don't think you need fn before it. You just put a value, an arrow, and what you return. So expression. You don't need even fn, so it's even shorter than JavaScript.
Oh, I think you mean a block of code that is executed while it is being declared, because in the end they call it, or not. Because the way this is in PHP, it seems to be more like macros. You define this macro will evaluate to this when it is called, not here. It will not be called here.
No. It's exactly the anonymous function that you're using directly. I think there was a RFC for this that we can use more examples.
Yeah, I don't know if there is. Oh, there is an RFC, exactly.
Yeah, so you can view, look how array map function has changed. It's exactly like this. You define anonymous function only in different syntax.
Oh, sure, but this is declared, not called.
No. Whatever you return in array map, as you see.
Yes, that's what I mean. It will declare a function with this name, but it will only be called somewhere else.
No, it's not.
It's
not the arrow function.
No, it's not what you think in JavaScript, I think. Look here. You define, this is the definition of the arrow function, and this is the call to the arrow function. So you could call it multiple times. I think what you mean
I don't.
in JavaScript is that you declare some code, and at the end
you only declare anonymous functions like this, and I think the same is in PHP. You cannot reuse it; it's an anonymous function.
Exactly.
So you can assign it to a variable and call multiple times, but you need to assign it to a variable.
Yes, but this is not an anonymous function. This is a named function. You name it like this, and it will evaluate the code to this. So you can call it multiple times with using this name.
No, you call it multiple times with move2 because you assigned it to variable move2. You can't call it. This is not a macro.
I don't know if this. So are you saying this is very confusing? Are you saying that fn is a new parameter?
It's sugar syntax to shorten name function. It's now fn.
Oh, I see. Oh, you're probably right. I also understand this not very the way it is. It should be understood, because this is a new thing, and you need to actually practice it before you can use it.
Yeah, as I said, I know it because it's already in JavaScript, so it's not so confusing for me.
No, I can keep seeing this all the time, except it is not called fn. You just declare it, and, and there is no fn prefix. So I see. So the idea is to, but are those calls arrow functions in JavaScript? No, they are just functions. They're just anonymous functions.
Yep.
And but do they take also parameters?
Yeah, you similarly you define the parameters and expression what happens to them, and additionally in JavaScript they also bind the context to this object where it was defined to the same scope where function was defined. So you can reuse anonymous functions in the class quite easily without redefining this, storing it as static variable and stuff like that. So it's kind of handy.
Yeah, I see. So this is to get on par with JavaScript.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know. Because, well, the way I keep seeing this in JavaScript, you just declare it and immediately call it. That's what It's more to isolate the context of the code inside the function. It's not so much as a macro, because the way it is here, you can define it as macros. You can call it and do some quick replacement. It's typically an expression that is evaluated. It's not a macro because it's not, I mean, a macro like in C, because in C it is a constant. But, okay.
In JavaScript, I think you can have a proper function body there. You don't have to just return an expression. So it's a little more than that too.
Yeah. And then they are discussing why they should call it FN or something else, because there were in the top 1,000 repositories, you find it uses of FN. I mean, in GitHub. So maybe they will not call it FN, but call it something else. So this is still under discussion, so they probably will consider it some revisions to this proposal. Not exactly like this. This is not exactly new. There is the first proposal in August, but the topic was rehashed by the end of January, and then they keep discussing it throughout February. Okay, moving on to the next topic, HKDF, the thing that we are not exactly sure how to describe it because we are not security experts. But from what I got, because these HMAC functions get used by many protocols, I keep seeing HMAC SHA-1, maybe SHA-1 not anymore, because now Google discovered the one collision.
Yeah.
Oh, that will be terrible.
Deliberate collision. It was not an accident. They specifically created it, so probably some others can create it too. But
yeah,
it's still hard. They require lots of GPUs to do that.
Well, a lot now, maybe not a lot in the future.
Yeah.
And lots of GPUs. How many are those? Are those things that you can buy in the next NVIDIA?
I don't know.
Oh wait, you also should consider AMD, right? Not just NVIDIA.
Radeon, yeah, they have Radeon or something. True.
Yeah. Or else they probably, your friend probably will kill you. There is that story of people killing themselves because of the NVIDIA versus AMD.
Really? That happened?
Oh, it was a recent story. I don't know what exactly were the details, but I saw something. People killing each other because discussions of it's like VI versus Emacs, except it is for video cards. Anyway, we are diverting. It's not exactly the topic here. The topic here is in encryption. So
in HMAC you can use any hash function, I think. So
yeah.
And as it describes in the other part, I think that was linked, that while SHA-1 could be found vulnerable, as you said, it had one collision, using it with HMAC would make it more cryptographically secure. So it has some salt adding to it also through the HMAC and stuff like that. I think. Well, the KDF part is specifically something key related cryptography, something that you can encrypt and decrypt or verify that it was encrypted with a specific key.
Well, I'm not sure if that is the interpretation, because usually HMAC functions are defined like this. And and they are used a lot in many algorithms. I mean,
Yeah.
many protocols. So you just change the type of hash, and
Yep.
it will return whatever is the hash with some salt or whatever. Okay. Meanwhile, this function was already added to PHP 7.1 hash HKDF. So there was a debate whether they should call it HKDF or hash HKDF. It seems that hash HKDF prevailed. So there is nothing else to discuss regarding this because
Yeah, only that it exists, and if you know what it means, then you probably need to use it because you have a requirement for it or something. If you don't know what it means, then you probably don't even need it.
It's probably you have implemented it with the regular PHP code.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know, is it OpenID? I have implemented an OpenID client and server class. Never published it because, well, nowadays OpenID is being phased out in favor of OpenID Connect, which is basically OAuth 2 with some extensions.
I am looking for OAuth 2 server side implementation.
There are many out there. And I know what you mean. You are going to implement an API and you need to
authenticate other clients.
I have implemented a very popular OAuth client class, and I'm sure I will implement a OAuth server class soon because of this new project I'm working on. I'll certainly need some authorization because I'm going to do browser-side code instead of doing all in server-side. Because when you do that, you make it easier to implement web applications as native mobile applications using Cordova, things like that. So I am sure I will be implementing something like this even before, because when you implement an API for your mobile client, you are also implementing an API for others to use that API if they want to. Most people don't want to just use the existing applications or plugins or whatever.
So looking forward to that class, just so you know.
Yes. Okay. Actually, you already told me that in the past. Yeah. I just didn't do that because I didn't have a specific need. I will probably do it just to complement with the client class. There are some other OAuth server classes, but often I look at them, I don't like the design. They're too complicated. Bazillions of classes to implement something that is simple. But okay, those are other design preferences. I don't have anything against them, except that they are not very appealing to me. But I tend to do things that you don't have to take a course to understand how it works internally. It's like, it's magic. don't try to understand OAuth. I already have gone through that pain.
That's exactly what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, no, it's painful. And it should be simple, but in the end it isn't. Because there are many variants. Oh, our tokens need to be refreshed. You need to support that extension that refreshes the token. And it must somehow tie to your token storage, because if a token is refreshed, the old token is no longer valid and you need to save it. Man, that is complicated. And that's why the class that I have developed is very popular. People don't want. I keep getting requests, oh, support this API server. And sometimes it's just a few lines of configuration in a separate file, not the class file. And in the end, it's just one class, not bazillions of classes. And there are some subclasses specialized to just change the storage. like, oh, I don't want to store tokens in sessions. I want to store tokens in a database.
Yeah.
Then you create a subclass and override whatever you need to do that. But there are some subclasses specialized in MySQL or whatever. Anyway, moving on to the next topic, namespaces in core. This, I'm not sure exactly how to interpret this, but basically it is a way to tell which implementation you want to call, and you have, for instance, maybe an extension like this one given in the examples called Sodium, and they want it to be distinguished from an eventual implementation in user space.
Yeah, so user can define any namespace they want. So what if user defines namespace Sodium and it already has Sodium in the core? You have a problem there.
Yeah, but you always have that problem. It's not the namespaces that collide, it's more the names of the classes or functions that you may have in the whatever is the code that you're calling and the extension. So this Sodium extension, I think it defines, I'm not sure, but probably it defines classes or functions.
Yeah.
That would be global. So the default namespace would be PHP would be like / which is the default namespace, but they are, I think the proposal is to, well, this is still in discussion because I looked here, well, at least it was in discussion. I'm not sure what was the conclusion because I could not read all of those messages. But I think they want to define certain namespaces, and I think there are several possibilities for namespaces for PHP extensions. I don't know, but they are proposing several of them. I didn't even know if the namespaces are case sensitive. Probably they are, so they look more like Java.
You always say that.
Well, that is a trend. You know, there are many developers out there that have a secret desire to make PHP more like Java. Well, it's not so secret. But, well, I think it makes sense. But basically, the idea is to make sure that there are no collisions between userland implementations of certain classes and built-in extensions. I think that is the purpose.
Yeah, something
anyway,
like that.
Moving on, one last proposal that we're going to discuss is extended string types for PDO. Basically, this is to build something that I was not aware, which is when you specify some parameters that may have national characters. I mean, national characters are non-ASCII. There is the N prefix, and I think PDO did not support this. I'm not sure what is the difference between passing it just like that. Maybe it tries to do some encoding conversion. This is something that did not get very, very well.
I think the problem is that PDO supports many databases, and not all databases require this N prefixing. So only some requires it. So there should be an option to provide it if it needs to be used, or do not provide it if it not needs to be used for the specific database. Because PDO does not know that.
Yeah, but well, it's basically just to prefix the value with N.
Yes.
Because I'm not really sure. when I would use this. Well, nowadays we all use UTF-8, and that's it, right?
Yep,
Or not?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yep, just put the field name, field type as field for OKO, I think, or what was it? I don't remember.
So what would be the difference in putting a hand before or not?
That's what I don't know. If you put to your field locale to specific UTF-8, like I don't think it should be a problem, but maybe it still is.
Yeah, maybe this deserves to be studied better. Maybe it is something that we should pay attention more. Anyway, it was a proposal sent last month, and it is still being discussed, I think. Okay, now we are going to talk about the Innovation Award winners and nominees of, I think, December, although the results for the whole year already come out. Last month we recorded a separate show with the winner of the PHP Innovation Award, Christian V, that came and talked about his work and why he works a lot, not just to win the award, but develop great components that he uses, many other people use. And every month he has a bunch of PHP components to publish and update. But his favorite is the PDF one, the PDF to text one. He does lots of things.
Favorite and popular, most popular probably.
Yeah, it's getting very popular, and you can see by the number of support threads. Anyway, we are here to talk about the nominees first of JavaScript. Arthur, which ones would you like to comment?
Okay, let me first do the compartilhar
Oh, you are seeing it in Portuguese?
Yeah, I copied link from you, so everything is in Portuguese right now.
Don't ask me why this happens.
Foca está compartilhando sua tela.
You can change URL at the top and reload the page.
Yeah, it will reload the Hangouts now. I'll just ask you if I don't understand something. So, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Great. So the package that I want to comment on JavaScript JS classes is JavaScript descriptive statistics. It's rare where we see something like this, but it's really interesting package. And first one, probably need to tell what descriptive statistics here is, and basically it's a statistical analysis of the data you provided, but in the sense that it provides some kind of summarize the data, not like learning about it and doing some assumptions, but rather just go through it and summarize doing some summarization to know about this data. Like here are the provided examples, like you can get arithmetic average of all the values here, so sum it up and divide it by the count and stuff like that. And this package was developed by Miguel from Venezuela. Let me see, there are probably examples too.
Yeah.
Okay, there is no exactly like data to use. Yeah, there is a stat.js. But yeah, so if you need something like this, that you could use this package, and he did not choose any prize yet, or did not at all. Probably at all, I think.
But there is a small issue that is causing some delays, which is the way people choose prizes from O'Reilly. And to make it simpler, O'Reilly provided a page for that, but it expired in December, so they need to renew it, and I'm still asking them, well, they have some people waiting for their prizes. So I'm not sure if his prize was O'Reilly or he did not reply, because there are so many nominees, and that I would need to figure out what was his case. Just here. Okay, so on my behalf, I also would like to comment on a couple of packages, but first let me...
Yeah, on your behalf, you should share a screen.
Yes, trying to find what is...
It's called Compartivartela, if you didn't know.
Well, that is the easy part. The hard part is to actually find how many of these Brazilian windows that I am open, which one is the right one. So I think you are seeing it now.
Yep, I see it.
Okay, this one, JavaScript plot graph, a package from Leonardo Mauro Pereira from Brazil. Basically, it is a package that it can plot graphs in Canvas, but using a function, an equation. Could be something that you provide as a callback, and it will define the values. So could be a linear equation or not, could be something that you just define.
So it accepts x and y parameters, and what you return,
Yeah.
whatever, and it draws the... Nice.
Could be random. And this is an interesting package because it allows you to visualize practically any type of graph, not necessarily something linear, as I mentioned. I was trying to see if there are any demos or screenshots which are always better, because sometimes looking at example code, it's not that easy, but you can see here that here it is a plugin. You can define a user interface. If I'm not mistaken, this one is one that allows you to actually edit let the user edit the values. Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
why it's so complicated.
Well, for people that enjoy doing things like this, maybe it's not that complicated. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. The next package that I want to comment, not the next topic. Because as for the price, I'm still waiting. This package is called jQuery 2 Player plugin by Emil Kilaj from Sweden. And it is a plugin to dynamically embed YouTube videos. So you could use the YouTube API and embed it yourself, or you could use this plugin and dynamically make the player appear. So it is nothing hard to explain, but it is useful. It can also make it show the screenshots of images of the videos, so it can provide a different user interface that may be nicer than the actual traditional embed interface that people are using for YouTube. Anyway, this month there are only 3 nominees, and we already talked about the standings of the rankings for 2016 last month, because the 2016 has already ended, but so we can comment already on the 2015, 17. Oh, I think the page is cached.
Yeah.
So I have to go there.
No, you were on 17 now. I think you were on 17. Yeah.
Yes, but the 16 package that doesn't have 2017 links.
Yeah.
So for 2017, the rankings are only consider the nominees of January. So far, there are 3 three developers: Titan first place, Emil Kilaj from Sweden, Martin Latter from UK, and Martin Barker from the UK. Two Martins from the same country with 1 packet and 5 points. Then we have Till Wioski with 1 packet and 2 points, and Tom Loprod from Spain with 1 packet and 2 points.
Yes,
As for countries,
the two Martins from one country put this country in the first place.
yes, that's what happens. And United Kingdom is first with 2 packets and 10 points. Sweden is second with 1 packet and 5 points. Germany and Spain are tied with 1 packet and 2 points. So since there are not many packages being published in JS classes, the rankings are more or less predictable. Okay, so we are going now move on to the Innovation Award. Nominees of PHP classes in December 2016. There were like 10, 11 packages. So which ones would you like to comment, Arthur?
Yeah, let me do the compartillar first.
Now you enjoyed.
Yeah, the new language. I'm learning it.
Yeah.
One screen share at a time. I actually already forgot what it was. But eventually I will learn. Okay, so first let me paint you a picture. It's a night. You're walking outside, you look at the sky and you see something is shining, flying by or anything, and you're interested what it is. Probably you can distinguish a plane from other stuff, so let's assume it's not a plane, it's a satellite. How would you know what exactly it is and what its purpose and how it's moving? And this is exactly when this package came into play. It's a NASA near Earth orbit API client developed by Sergey Pris from Ukraine. And so it can query NASA API to retrieve several types of information about near Earth objects and like orbital data, distances, velocities, and size of it and stuff like that. So I really thought that it was an interesting idea. I did not know that such API exists, and
yeah.
I don't know if you can request for specific objects under like which you are under like a specific section of the sky. Would need to look at it more precise, but yeah.
From what I understood, this is more to monitor the next meteorite that will meteor
Also,
that. Well, actually, that's the main purpose. It's not for planes. You mentioned planes. Oh, planes. Are you sure this is?
No.
I'm not sure.
I say assuming it's not a plane because you could distinguish a plane, but it should track satellites. I think it should track satellites and stuff like that. Planes, of course, not. They are not near orbit. They are.
Remember
Earth.
People that said, "Oh, it will be the end of the world because a meteor will hit the planet in the next days." And
that's still a possibility.
And by the time you got it, it totally disintegrated and nothing happened. But I think there was one relatively recent one that almost hit the ground, and it was not that small. I think it was in Russia some time ago, not that recent, but not probably last year or the year before.
Yeah, I saw the videos, but there were no confirmation that it was meteorite, so I really don't know what it was. The explosion was quite big, and lots of houses have the glass shattered in the windows and stuff like that. So it's really messy. But yes, I didn't see a confirmation that it was meteor because meteorite. No, because no one reported that actually something like that approaches the Earth. So it's hard to tell what was it.
So if it was not a meteor, what was it?
I don't know, maybe rocket experiments. Maybe meteor.
Those Russians.
No, I'm not stereotyping. I'm just saying that I really don't know. Several years ago here in Latvia, some company had a commercial prank that they announced that meteorite hit the place here, and there were lots of scientists from all over the world, and they said, no, it's just a commercial for our something. Operating carrier plan, data plan, or something like that, and everyone was so frustrated.
Oh, they wanted a real meteor.
Yeah.
Or maybe they want a missile from North Korea.
I don't know.
Don't do that. Do not play with missiles at home.
Okay, and Sergey got one subscription to the PDF edition of the PHP Architect magazine for this package. So PHP numbers towards conversion. This was not what we talked about in the last month's article. This is number towards, and this was developed by Haseb Ahmad Basil from Pakistan. And yeah, it does what it says. It converts numbers to words, and in many different languages, as you see here, even Lithuanian and not Latvian. I wonder why.
Yeah, because you did not behave. You do not deserve. Well, maybe it's not that different because there are many similar languages there.
Oh, it's obviously yeah.
There's Estonian. You put, no.
Also, yeah, and they left out the middle. Nice. I don't know why. I don't think that author would know all languages himself, so he probably used some resources and just it was not available for Latin language or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, so it's not his fault.
Yes, it's my fault. I did not provide resources.
Yeah.
Okay. And he got one big elephant plush mascot. Yeah, he was the first winner, so he was the first one to get it, right? Makes sense.
Yeah, I was the first, maybe. I don't. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the first in the month. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We are giving elephants for many months. Okay, the next package that we'd like to comment is PHP stands for Core NLP Adapter. Basically, there is this server to perform natural language processing queries that is provided by the Stanford University. It is a server that runs on Java, but thanks to this package by Dennis Swart from the Netherlands, you can actually send requests to a local server, a local copy of this Stanford NLP server to perform different queries for instance, parsing sentences and get the results about what is being said in that sentence. So this package by Dennis Swart is quite nice because it makes this server available in a nice way to PHP. Finally, the last package that I want to comment is called Tuple Dictionary, and it is by Bill from United Kingdom. I'm sure his name is longer, but it's just Bill for the friends. And his package deals with arrays, and well, you know, arrays in PHP can either be accessed with keys that are either strings or integers, but thanks to this package, it provides a workaround that limitation, so you can actually use other types of objects, not just strings and integers, as indexes to access the array. So this is quite a nice package that does something unusual. So now you can use objects to access For instance, arrays that are indexed by some object value. And an object value is not an integer, it's not a string. So you can use this package to somehow convert it into a hash that will be used to access the elements of this tree. Okay, regarding the Innovation Award nominees, that is also we're going to just see how are the rankings for the 2017 already, because we last month we already mentioned the winners at 2016. So
oh my god, I just saw how many packages we will be commenting on.
Yes, that was the record. It is like 22. And we can take 2 days off to comment on this package. And that has a reason, because I have implemented a new feature that invites to discover packages that authors have not submitted to the site yet in GitHub. So I sent several invitations, and then I got many packages being submitted. Many of them were innovative. So it is my fault that in January we had
okay,
all
I will blame you.
Yeah, and in February there were less, just 17. Hopefully in March it will return to normal values. Anyway, regarding the Innovation Award rankings for 2017, this is more or less the rankings of the winners of January mapped to the rankings of 2017, because there is there are no other months of authors being nominated. So first there is Nahid bin Azhar from Bangladesh with 1 package and 22 points. In second place there are like 6 authors. Asif Ahmad from Brazil, from Pakistan, Alessandro Quintalani from Italy, Gavin Gordon Markowski from Canada, Christian V from France, South Ashara from Australia. There are, and Peter Kalf from this Hong Kong. I almost said Malaysia. Anyway, they are tied in second place with 1 package and 21 points. Then there is Scott Arsiewski and Istvan Dobranentey with 1 package and 15 points. And they are tied with Sergei Priz from Ukraine with 1 package and 15 points. By countries, there is a little variation, because there are multiple authors from certain countries like France and United States. So the France has 2 packages and 32 points, United States 2 packages and 26 points. And then come Bangladesh, Canada, Hong Kong, Italy, Australia, Pakistan, all tied with 1 package and 21 points in fourth, and in ninth, Ukraine and Hungary with 1 package and 15 points. And all these people tied is that there are many packages to be nominated, not so many people voting. So please vote on the packages, so you help making these rankings more distinguished, not so many people being tied. Okay. Well, with this, we basically reached the end of this podcast. I'd like to thank you again, Hartas, for coming, and also people that are now commenting on the YouTube Live and also live coding. We are broadcasting many places at the same time. I don't know how technology made it possible, because I don't have that much bandwidth. But it seems I'm streaming multiple times over here. But okay, I hope these PHP topics were interesting enough. We are still in the middle of the season. I don't know what exactly is the plan release schedule, probably for PHP 7.2 or 8 or PHP 8. I don't even know if it is already decided. I think they are up to decide it, because when I talk with Dmitry Stogov regarding an article about PHP performance and the JIT engine that is working on to make PHP faster, he said the numbering of versions was not yet decided. So unless I missed something, we don't know yet if it will be PHP 8 or PHP 7.2. But anyway, these are the proposals that are going on. Some are interesting, some are probably addressing the needs of a few people, but that's why they are being discussed. Sometimes they get adoption later. So on my behalf, that is all for now. Bye.